Hello again. I'm going to talk about another board game, but this time I'm going to do things a bit differently because one of the points I'm trying to make with these videos is that board games nowadays are all over the place. There's board games for everybody, no matter what you're into, no matter how much you're into games of any kind of whatever, right? Last time I picked something that was kind of small and simple and subtle and single player. So this time, let's go the opposite end of every spectrum. Let's go for something big and brash and bonkers, and you've got to have 1,000,000 players to play. We're not literally 1,000,000. That'd be very difficult to get all in one room, but it is still a lot of people. And it's a game called Space Cadets. And if you're getting a bit of a Star Trek vibe from this, that's because that's entirely intentional. It's basically a Star Trek simulator if it was played by the Monty Pythons. Let me show you a bit of this. Alright, because we've got a box full of all kinds of stuff. Oh god, it's literally falling on the floor. Because this game isn't a game. It's like 8 games all wrapped around one game. Let me get this up front right away. This is not a game I necessarily advise you to buy unless you've discussed it with your friends and they're all crazy about the idea and all want to play. What I'd say is find someone who already has it and beg them to play it and get some time put aside for them to teach it to you, because the problem with this game, and it does have a problem, it's flawed in some ways, but the main problem with this game is it has, like I said, it's got loads of little different games and you kind of need to know all of them up front. And even if you don't, the person who's teaching it needs to teach each of those games to at least one person. So it takes a while to set up. But I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping way ahead. I'm starting with the negatives, and trust me, there's a lot of positives in here. Let's see. You have a map. It's a galaxy map. Well, it's not a map. It's lots of map tiles. Oh, this is going to be so crinkly. You're going to just hear bags rustling. So you've got different space sectors that do things, and you have different missions that you're trying to do. So generally you start off, you've got your spaceship, which has a spaceship tile on here somewhere, I don't know. And basically you fly around and you have to investigate different sectors, and as you're going along, you're building your map up, and it becomes this like wide open area that you fly around, and you try to achieve goals of different types. Maybe you're having to shoot down other ships, or maybe you're having to collect crystals, or maybe just having to scan stuff. Who knows? There's all different kinds of things you can do. But you're doing this not as individuals, you're doing this as a team, as the crew of a single starship. So you're all going to have your different rules. There's going to be the roles, I should say. There's going to be the captain, and the captain sort of, they're in charge of energy allocation. I'll get, energy, which is made by the engineer. We'll get to that. And they can choose who has how much energy to do their job. You've got the weapons person who gets to fire weapons a bit, and there's this cool mini game that they do later where they flick a tile like along this track to try and get it in the right damage area. And there's the scanner person who's trying to figure out what it is they're fighting and where everything is. And there's, oh god, what is it? Hold on, here, I've got a chart here. This is helpful. This is what the engineering person has. This is where they allocate the energy. So this is a list of all the different subsystems you've got. And the more energy you put to do. Helm! Of course, Helm, they're the one that flies it around. And all this kind of stuff. And the way you do all those things is mini-games. But they're all different. They're all completely different mini-games. Some of them are mostly luck. Some of them are mostly strategy. Some are a mix of the two. There's like the jump drive. If you want to jump out of the sector at the end of the game, it's kind of a dice game. So you've got some dice you have to roll. But you just roll them once. And that's like, and you have to get the right thing to jump. And that seems really luck-based, and it's not going to work out. But as you go through the game, you unlock all these different cards that let you manipulate the dice and flip them over and do different things with them. Let me see, they're just random tiles. There's one game which is all about, it's kind of like poker. You get all these different pieces that have different values, and you have to place them. Hold on, there's all these different player mats for different people, and they're all together, and it's going to take me ages to tie this up at the end, but whatever. Yeah, so there's this poker, there's shields, that's it, the shields. It's like this poker thing, so you get these tiles, and you have to try and put them down to try and get particular values, and that adds up to the amount of shield strength you get on that quadrant to try and block damage, and if you do get damage, that can make some of the subsystems not work or get less tiles or do whatever. God, what is there? There's like, look at these Tetris shapes. The weapons person, they get these cards. The scanning. They get these particular cards which have these different shapes on, and then they have to like reach into the bag and try and fit the tiles on there in the right configuration so that they can do it. And the more they get, the better the lock-ons they get and things like that. And there's someone else who has to pull things out of a bag and try and guess the shape without being able to see them. It's bonkers how much stuff there is in here. There's 8 games in this box, and all of them are fun, and all of them are these little things. And because they're all kind of different, because some of them are, you know, more like, you know, tiles, you know, this one's good for people who have good visual elements, you know, who are good at sort of shape matching and stuff like that. And then there's the helm control one. The way that works is you have different cards that you put down that are going to make you move in different ways. So it's a matter of, well, what order shall I put them in? Which card shall I play? And trying to plan out a movement, sort of programming in advance. There's everything in here. There's every kind of game. Every person that you play with, the kind of games that they like, this has it. It's amazing. And like I said, the only problem is, you know, before you start the first round, you have to go to the shield person and explain to them every single thing about the shield game. Because when you're actually doing it, when you're actually doing the different tasks, you're all doing them at once. All of you are focused on your own thing, and you're doing it against this little egg timer. You have about 30 seconds or something to do your entire task, to make sure that the shields are charged and the weapons are firing and the ship's flying in the right direction and everything's scanned and everything's the way it should be. And if you get your little bit wrong, and you will get your little bit wrong, it's fine, because it's silly. It's a silly, bonkers, bizarre game. It's wonderful. I love this game, and it pains me to say I've only played it. Oh yes, Tractor Beam. See, Tractor Beam. This one, it's all about memorization. You've got like a grid of tiles. It's like, you know the game where you flip cards over and you're trying to match cards. You know, get pairs and then try and click. It's that, but that's for tractoring things. There's everything here, and I've only played this game once, and it was great. It was great. We all loved it. We had a brilliant time, but it's hard to, because there's so many systems, you really need at least 5 players, preferably 6 or 7, to play this game. And you need people where you're going to be able to explain the game to them in advance, and they're going to be able to remember it and understand it for when they're actually doing their thing. Because if they forgot on the turn, they can't turn to you and say, wait, what am I doing again? Because you're frantically doing your own thing while this is ticking down. You can't explain it to them. You've got to get a move on. You know, you've got damage to manage. You've got sensors to align. You've got everything. It's brilliant, and everything you're doing is in this context of like the ship trying to achieve these missions. So you've got all these little tasks you're doing, little mini goals that you're trying to achieve for short-term gain in order to achieve a long-term goal. And all of this, you can do all of the missions as part of a non-running campaign. So then it's all part of an even bigger. Oh, it's brilliant! It's lovely! This is fantastic! And I really wish it was easier to play. They've tried, bless them. The people who made the game, they've tried the best. All of the different roles in the game, they have a little card sort of explaining little bits about what the point is, just little rules reminders, and even a QR code on the card that you can look up, and it gives you a video demonstration of how that particular role works, which is a nice player aid. Oh yeah, this tile, the engineering one, the power one, you've got all these different tiles that have different colours on, and you're just trying to match them up so that the shapes align, because when the shapes align, it gives you more energy for that particular role. And then when it gets to actually distributing the energy, if someone's got way more energy than need, you don't need anything tractor beaming right now. You can trade 2 energy of one role for 1 energy in another. You could say, no, forget the tractor beams. Let's give a little bit more to the shields. It's brilliant, because you wind up, you've all focused on your turn on doing your little bit. And then between the turns, you're all discussing, like, the strategy and what went wrong and what went right, and then there's cards, there's silly cards that do things to mess with you. So like one of them is a shift change where the captain has to pick two people. They get up out of the seat and swap, and now they have the role. So now your shields person that you fully took through the shields aspect and you've taught them all of the intricacies and what this poker thing is, they're not doing shields anymore. Now they're doing weapons. And the weapons person, which was just about putting shapes on a card, that's pretty easy to understand, they're now having to play this weird poker thing. It's going to go wrong. And it's brilliant. Everything about this game, except the size of it, is brilliant. And it's not that the size of it is bad as such, it's just that it makes it unwieldy. This isn't a game for any situation. This is a game that it's going to be your event for the day, because it could take a couple of hours to play and you probably need half an hour to an hour to get everything set up and explain everything to everyone. So yeah, this game, find someone who owns it. Find me if you know me, and demand that we put some time aside, and play it, because it is the most fun. It really is. It's completely barmy. I cannot advise playing it more. Even if I don't necessarily advise you buy it, because as I think I said, I've only played this once, and that's criminal. Also, what is quite bonkers is, given all this stuff that there is in the game, the box is actually pretty damn small. Look how thin that is. You know, and this is, I mean, I have way bigger boxes over there. In board game terms, modern board game terms, this is quite a sleek, slender package. But it's filled with just stuff. It's wonderful. So, yeah, that's Space Cadets. I hope you wind up playing it sometime and enjoy it, because you should, because it deserves it. Okay, bye.